Okay, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel, Mystic's Table. Today we will be doing session 8 of our Ironsworn campaign. We left off at a pretty good moment last time, so let's do a quick recap. Albrun had finally reached the deep wilds, um, and he had reached Mattick's house in a clearing in the deep wilds with the help of an owl that kind of led him there. Presumably, the owl probably knows Mattick, maybe has a relationship. I don't know. Um, but when we got there, Mattick's house was empty, and there was definitely a sign of struggle. We investigated and we followed some gaunt tracks, which I don't know if I mentioned. I always forget that some people watching this might not have read the Ironsworn core rulebook and might not be familiar with what a gaunt is. A gaunt is it's like an animal mount that the elves ride. It's like a horse, but not. It's pretty creepy. It's like a creepy version of a horse. It's like super skinny, really bony. Here, let me just read off the description. Sorry guys, I always forget. I kind of assume that the people watching this are familiar with Ironsworn, but I also forgot that this is also kind of meant to be something that we are like learning together. So I'll just have to make sure that I am keeping up on that. So let's see. A gaunt is an animal. It's page 148. Let's see. So page 148. I'll just read a quick description. It's a horse-like creature with a lean skeletal frame, ghostly pale eyes, and black scaled hide. So it's like a really creepy horse, I guess, is the best way to describe it. They're unique to the Ironlands, and yeah, elves. They live in the deep wilds, and apparently in the past they might have lived like in the havens and like roamed the prairies or whatever. But the elves know how to train them for just basic riding and war type activities and stuff. So that's what a gaunt is. It's a mount for an elf, and that's how Albrun, when he saw the gaunt tracks, he knew that elves were involved because he's actually pretty familiar with elvish culture, being raised by an elf himself. So we followed those tracks, and we were actually able to catch up with the elves and Mattick, who was tied up by the elves. So presumably there's something going on there. I imagine that the elves and Mattick do not have a good relationship. But it should be noted the elves were taking him alive. Wherever they were taking him, they wanted him alive. They didn't kill him on the spot. They presumably were able to get past all of his enchantments and whatever rituals he had casted to protect his home. But they did not kill him when they made it past all of that. They captured him alive. So presumably there's a reason for that. And I forgot to mention, I know I said that I had kind of like pre-wrote a little bit of Mattick. I wanted to share with you guys the character goal that I rolled for him, just so that you can kind of understand where he's coming from, like what his motivations are, the things that drives his actions. It's almost like his background Val, if you will. So Maddox's character goal is to protect his home. So that's kind of the thing that drives all of his decision making. I just wanted to share that with you guys, just so you can kind of, see that as we play along. But anyways, so we ended up making the only choice that I thought we could make. Like I really tried to think about it, tried to get creative, but in my head with Albrun, I just as a player character, I didn't really see any other option. There was like 5 elves. They had Mattick tied up. They were getting ready to like pack up their little camp and keep going. And to me, all we can assume there is that they are taking Mattick to a secure location that probably has more elves, is probably fortified and would be a lot harder to sneak into and break him out. And so my line of thinking was we should try to intercept this right now instead of following them and seeing where they were going to take him, because Albrun is not a fighter, so it's not like he would have been able to fight his way in like some elvish stronghold or village or whatever they were taking him to. So we might have made a dumb choice, and Albrun walked straight into the clearing, announced himself, and was like, hey, like, I just want to help. And he tried to like go in there with his hands up and stuff to look as non-threatening as possible, but the elves weren't buying it, and one of them literally smacked Albrun across the jaw with the butt of the spear and captured Albrun too. And when he woke up, they were by a river, gagged. Albrun was gagged, Mattick was gagged. Things were looking pretty dire. It's not like they could have done anything. The elves were like chatting with each other. But some of Mattick's simulacrums, which I guess I should explain that as well. I didn't explain that last time. So simulacrums, I actually borrowed that term from one of the assets that the game provides. The asset is called Awakening, and it's basically, it allows a mystic to create servants that can aid the mystic in feats of strength. And I'm not going to go into too much details because we're probably going to end up trying to pick up that asset ourselves, and we can explore that then. But the Awakening asset, it doesn't actually specify what exactly it is you're animating. So I think Sean Tompkin designed it to be very versatile, so it can work as like a necromancy asset if you want to like animate dead bodies, or it can work as an enchantment based asset, which is the vibe that we went with, where Mattick is like he's like getting these boulders and these rocks and giving them not sentient life. Like these, I will say these simulacrums, they're not sentient. They can't carry on a conversation. They don't have thoughts of their own. They follow their master's will. But he's like, he can like enchant inanimated objects and make them servants, I guess. So that's what a simulacrum is. And we had rolled well. I forgot what roll it was. It was probably like face danger or something like that. I can't remember. But we rolled well, and it turned out a bunch of Mattick's simulacrums were still in the forest, kind of how we got ambushed earlier. But those simulacrums, they came out of the trees and they fought the elves, and they defeated the elves. A lot of them got destroyed. The elves were pretty good warriors, but the simulacrums outnumbered the elves. And the fact that they're rocks probably means that they can't feel pain, so I imagine that's probably helped them win against the elves. But they won. They bludgeoned the elves to death, so that's our first crazy deaths we've seen in this campaign. The elves, I mean, I can't imagine what that bloody scene looked like. That's kind of crazy. And so now here we are. The simulacrums have actually freed Mattick. They got rid of the gag and the his hands that were tied behind his back. So he's standing up. He has his staff. Grizzled old man looking at Albrun, who is still gagged, still on the ground, hands tied behind him, and is like, that kind of thing. And Mattick is like, who the heck are you, boy? And so I think Albrun is gonna, kind of indignantly start mumbling into the gag. It's like, like I can't talk, and I think Mattick is just gonna kind of just flick of the wrist, the gag is gonna fall out of Albrun's mouth. But he's still tied up, still on the ground, and Albrun is gonna say, I am but a traveler that has been seeking you out. And I think Mattick is gonna look at Albrun right in the eyes, narrow his eyes, and say, "You're not just any traveler. I can see the Skuld blood in you. It's in your eyes. What do you want?" And he's like, and I think Mattick is while he's questioning Albrun, he's actually gathering his things, and it's looking like he's about to leave. So Albrun is gonna need to talk quick. He's like, I'm here on behalf of the people of Grimbrook. They say that you in the past have performed a ritual for them in order to enhance their soil and allow their food to grow, and they have not seen you for some time. I'm here to bring you back so that they need food. They're not doing too well. And Mattick, he's gonna say, to hell with those people. I don't care. If you can't tell, I have business here. My home is under attack with these disgusting elves. I don't have time for those people. Okay. So clearly Mattick does not have a lot of free time. Clearly he's not predispositioned to be a helpful person. So I think what we're gonna do here. I think what we're gonna do here. I think I want to talk a little bit more. So Albrun is gonna say, "They're starving, Mattick. Do you not have a duty to help these people? Are you not an Ironlander yourself?" And I think Mattick is gonna, like I said, he was gathering these things, and he's gonna pause here, and he's gonna look at Albrun, and he's gonna be like, "Are you for real?" kind of thing, kind of look, and he's gonna say, "Do you feel like an Ironlander in these parts, boy? Look at us. I'm positive that when you arrived to that village, you were not welcome. We are of the Scald blood. We've never been welcome here in these lands. We have no obligation to anyone here but ourselves. You would be wise to remember that." Yikes. Okay, so I think with that, Mattick is like getting ready to go. And so I think at this point, it's time to make a little bit of a show, a little bit of a plea kind of thing. And I think we're going to do another first. What is this? This is session 8. This is session 8. I think we're going to... So for the first time in this campaign, I want to make a particular move. Let's see. Let me go ahead and find where this move is. Oh, here we go. Let's see, page 42. Page 42. Okay. So what we're going to do here... Oh, wait a minute. No, that's the wrong page. Give me a second. Page 103 is the correct page. Okay, so for the first time in this campaign, I think we're going to go ahead and make the advance move. So it's not an actual roll or anything, but I'll go ahead and read it. When you focus your skills, receive training, find inspiration, earn a reward, or gain a companion, you may spend 3 experience to add a new asset or 2 experience to upgrade an asset. So I was like predispositioned. I was going to try to save the XP, the little bit of XP we have, because if you remember correctly, the only way to get XP in Ironsworn is to complete vows. And I think I mentioned this in session 0 or session 1, but vows are not a one-to-one with quests. So if you remember correctly, I think it was in session 1 or session 2, we had a vow to protect the people of Grimbrook from the disease and sickness, but we also got a side quest from Councilman Eli at the time to go get that journal and return it to him, and give him evidence about Overseer Kinara's deception on how she became Overseer. And we didn't get any XP for that side quest, even though we did complete it. We got the journal and we delivered it successfully. We didn't get any XP because it wasn't a vow. And so in Ironsworn, vows have like narrative impact. So I have seen some people play Ironsworn in a way where they make every single quest that they take on a vow. Um, but I don't know. For me, that doesn't really feel right. I don't think it really fits the vibes of the game. Like being Ironsworn, when you make a vow as an Ironsworn, it's like you're taking this thing into your being. At least in this version of the Ironlands, like a vow is not just a promise to do something. It's not just a let me mark this in my quest journal kind of thing. It's like a vow is like I will help you kind of thing. And so that's what generates XP. So not every single quest that you do is going to be a vow, which means you're not always going to get XP. Anyways, all that to say, XP is a rare commodity in this game. And so I was going to try to save my XP because I do plan on getting a lot of assets. It's so funny. When I've watched other playthroughs here on YouTube, I feel like I don't think I've watched a single playthrough where the player character like bought new assets. I think every single time I've watched an Ironsworn playthrough, they've only ever upgraded their 3 starter assets, or they just for some reason stockpiled their XP and not spent it. I don't know what that's about. That's not what we're doing here. We will be getting a lot of assets, I think, in this campaign. Um, but anyways, all that to say, as much as I would love to save the 2 XP we have, I think this is an opportune moment to spend some XP. And so what we're going to do here, I already read that advanced move. So you can upgrade your assets in a moment of inspiration, after training, that kind of thing. And so what Albrun is going to do here is, Mattick is getting ready to leave. He just said this whole, you shouldn't trust these Ironlanders. Like, you should only care about yourself. And he's like getting ready to go. And I think Albrun is going to say, wait. And so Mattick is going to turn back and look at Albrun. And in that moment, Albrun's silver eyes are going to have a faint glow to them. And he's going to look at Mattick in the eyes, right? And he's going to say, I need your help, okay? And so what we're going to do here is I'm going to get my little tab. This is a little tip for anyone who's purchased the actual asset cards, the physical ones, and you don't want to mark your asset cards, obviously, because you're going to want to use them for a replay. You don't want to put pin on your asset cards. So I bought these little tabs. We're going to upgrade our sighted asset. So our sighted asset here, we're going to upgrade it. And I think we're going to go ahead and take the second ability on this. So when you compel, forge a bond, or test your bond with a fellow mystic or mystical being, add +1 and take 1 momentum on a hit. And so that is what we're going to do here. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that just so that we know that we have that ability unlocked. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to roll a compel. That's what we're doing right here. So our eyes are glowing, and we're going to try to connect with Mattick, just in this way, and see if we can't convince him to, not leave us here tied up. Okay, so this is a compel plus, I'm thinking this is a compel plus heart. We're trying to convince him. We're not threatening, we're not lying. We're just trying to convince him. We need his help. So roll plus heart, that's +2, and we're going to take the +1 with our sighted asset because we are compelling a fellow mystic. So let's see what happens. Okay, that's a 3 on the action die, +3 is a 6. Oh, versus an 8 and a 7. Dang, we just wasted all our freaking XP. Let me actually mark that XP just so that we know that we don't have it anymore. And that was a freaking miss. Okay, so on a compel, when you miss, I don't think we've ever missed a compel, so that sucks. On a miss, they refuse or make a demand which costs you greatly. Pay the price. So I don't think he is going to even care enough to make a demand. I think he's going to say, So Albrun's eyes were glowing, and he was like, "Wait!" And Mattick is gonna turn around, and Albrun's like, "I need your help," and Mattick is gonna say, "I don't care." He's just gonna walk off with his simulacrums in tow, and he's gonna leave Albrun there tied up in the middle of the deep wilds. That's the pay the price part we're gonna do. We have to pay the price, and the gag got off, but our hands are still tied behind our back, and I assume that our legs are kind of tied. We can't really get up too well, like we can't really walk around too well. So Mattick is gonna leave. So we're just kind of stuck here, tied up. Okay, that sucks. So Albrun's gonna like curse. He's like, darn it. He's pretty mad. This isn't good. He's in the middle of the deep wilds. Any wild animal could come out here. Any type of thing could happen here. So this isn't good. Well, you know what? I feel like since the gag is off, maybe what we could do here. We did see. Okay, hold on. Albrun, he's an observer. He is able to learn what he sees. If you recall, that's how we were able to ward ourselves against that force wave when we were by the pillar, because we remembered kind of what our mother did, and we were kind of able to recreate it. Not as well, but we were able to recreate it. And so Albrun is going to remember that little like flick of the wrist kind of thing Mattick did that made Albrun's gag fall. And I think we're going to see if we can't recreate that effect, that minor mystical effect. So we are going to try to leverage Invoke. And our Essence track is really not doing too well. And our Spirit track, we're at +3. So I think we're here in the Deep Wilds. I think this is a great time to see if we can try to get a little bit more mystical essence and then see if we can leverage a little bit of mystical power to get out of this predicament. So we are going to roll on Invoke. When you consume the mystical essence of your surroundings, roll plus wits. So Albrun is like, he's like, okay, don't freak out. It's still in the middle of the day, like, it's not nighttime. There shouldn't be any predators lurking about. Mattick just left, so we can probably catch him if we can just get out of these binds. And so Albrun is going to, like he usually does, try to take a deep breath, really try to open up his inner body, his inner spirit to his surroundings. He's going to try to connect with the veil and see if he can't take in some mystical essence that surrounds him. I imagine there should be mystical essence in this area. We're in the middle of nature, so this is probably one of the best places to do this. But I guess we'll see. We're gonna roll. So this is rolling plus wits. So that's +2 on Invoke. Okay, that's a 3 on the action die. +2 is a 5 versus a 3 and a 9. So it's a weak hit. So we add the value of our action die to our essence track. So that's 3. So we're going to go from +2 essence to +5 essence. That's pretty cool. And since it's a weak hit, though, capturing these energies is harrowing. We have to endure 2 stress. So, okay. So we're going to go down to 1 spirit. And we're going to go ahead and roll endure stress and see if maybe we can bounce back. Okay, so you face mental shock or despair, blah, blah, blah. We're rolling, so you can roll plus spirit or plus heart, whichever is higher. Our spirit is 1, our heart is 2, so we're going to roll plus heart. That's a 3 on the action die, +2 is a 5 versus a 4 and a 1. Okay, strong hit. So on a strong hit, choose 1. We can either shake it off and exchange 1 momentum for 1 spirit, or we can embrace the darkness and take 1 momentum. Our momentum track is at 9 right now. I'm going to take the spirit back. So we're going to go down to 8 momentum and add +1 spirit. So we are at 2 spirit now. That's pretty cool. And so let's get back into the fiction. So Albrun, as he's trying to take in these mystical energies, he's pretty stressed out. This is a kind of like almost a do or die kind of thing. Like, he does not want to be left out here. And in his haste to you know, take some of this mystical essence that surrounds him into himself. You know, he does it a little, maybe a little too fast, a little too hastily, and it does stress him out. So he feels that wave of exhaustion over him as he's doing this, and it's not very good. But he gets through it. This is a do or die, and it needs to be done. So he is feeling a little bit more emboldened. He feels kind of a warmth inside of himself that he recognizes as his own magic. And so he is going to attempt to secure an advantage plus essence, I think. I think that's what he's going to do. This sounds like a secure an advantage roll. So we're going to attempt to secure an advantage and see if we can't successfully recreate that effect that Mattick had on the bindings with our hands tied behind our back. Okay, so when you attempt to gain leverage, envision your action, and if you act... Okay, well, we're doing it with essence, so we don't need that. Okay, so this is going to be +5. Okay, that's what I love about the invoke asset, is that it really allows you to have a super strong modifier if you do it right. And you can't get a +5 or +6 or even a +4 modifier with your regular stats. So invoke is allows you to possibly get some good magic on. So we're gonna roll +5 and see if we can do good. Okay, so that's another 3 on the app. I'm pretty sure we've rolled 3s the last 2 rolls. Okay. Anyways, so that's 3 + 4, or no, 3 + 5 is an 8 versus a 1 and a 6. Okay, that's a strong hit. So we subtract 1 essence on our track. So now we're down to +4 essence. We take 1 momentum on a hit. So that's +9. Yep, that's what happens on a strong hit. Okay, and then right? Yeah, take 1 momentum on a hit. Okay, and then so for secure advantage on a strong hit, you gain advantage. Choose one. Take control, make another move now, and add +1, or prepare to act, take +2 momentum. So let's get back into the fiction here. So Albrun, is desperate, and he remembers that little trick Mattick had that just allowed these cloth bindings to just fall off. And so he kind of, hands behind the back, he flicks his wrist, and the bindings around his legs and his wrists, they just fall away. And so he gets up, dusts himself off, and I think what we're going to do here, is this another roll to follow Mattick? I don't think it's a face danger. That doesn't make... is it? Is it a face danger to follow Mattick? Is it? I'm trying to think. Does this trigger a roll of some sort? When you attempt something risky or react to an imminent threat, I don't think it's risky to follow Mattick. He doesn't seem... I mean, he did leave us here tied up, but he wasn't aggressive towards us, so I don't really feel like this is very risky. Okay, I don't think any move is triggered here. So I think for this strong hit on secure an advantage... Yeah, I think... And it's not... We can't compel him again because he's gone. We got to catch up to him first. And so I don't think there's another move we can make right now. So I think we're going to end up taking the momentum, which I feel like is a waste because we're at 9 momentum and we're taking 2 momentum. So we're only taking 1 to get up to 10. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't think there's any move. I don't think there's any move that we can make right now. So we're just going to take the momentum and go back up to 10 momentum. We're going to follow Mattick. So he's not too far ahead. We were able to kind of recreate that, and we're just going to follow him. And we're not even going to try to hide. We're not even going to try to sneak or anything. We're just going to catch up to him. He has his 2 simulacrums, his 2 boulder golems kind of following in tow with him, and he's getting through that. He's an old man with a mission with his little staff, and he's just trying to get back to his place. And I think he's going to, without even looking back, he's going to know that we're there. He's like, get out those, hold on. He's going to be like, you got out those bindings, did you? maybe you do have a little bit of potential to you. Um, so Maddox is gonna keep going. I don't think Maddox wants him to follow. I don't think Maddox wants Albrun to follow. We know Maddox's character goal is to protect his home, and why would he trust Albrun? He just met the dude. He doesn't even know Albrun's name. So, but I just don't see Maddox as the type of person to just like outright attack. Is this an Ask the Oracle situation? I think this might be an Ask the Oracle situation. I'm trying to think of what Maddox's motivation is here. He wants to get back to his place. He's clearly going to try to refortify the place. I don't think he wants any business with Albrun. He doesn't seem like the type to fight, but at the same time, he's going to protect his home. So I think push comes to shove. I think we're going to ask the Oracle. No, guys, I'm so conflicted here. I don't know. I just don't feel like Maddox is the type of dude to just like attack, or even try to tie Albrun up again. Like, he was fine leaving Albrun tied up because he himself didn't tie Albrun up. So I think he's kind of able to separate that, and like he doesn't feel guilty for leaving Albrun tied up. But to tie Albrun up himself, or like restrain him with vines or something and leave him out here, I just don't really see. Okay. Maybe Maddox. I can definitely see Maddox might be a little impressed that we were able to recreate that little act of mystical effect that he did. I feel like he might be a little impressed with that. He commented on it. Is that enough to let Albrun follow? Okay, you know what? Yeah, that's what we're gonna go with. Right now, I just don't see why Maddox would waste his time restraining this dude that clearly, has no markings on him. He's not a threat. Yeah. Albrun is really not a threat. Albrun has no sword. He's not armed. He's clearly not like a trained, formidable mystic. And so I just don't see Mattick really taking any overt action to like restrain Albrun or anything, or even attack him. It just doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't feel like it's in character. So I think Mattick is, he's not going to slow down. He's going to keep going. Those rock golems might like, their heads, they don't really have necks, so they're like the front part of their boulders are like able to like completely rotate around, and they like look at Albrun, and then they just keep rotating, and they keep following their master. And Albrun kind of takes that as a sign that, okay, he's going to keep following. And they make it back to Maddox's clearing. Like we said last session, Maddox's house is like built into the trunk of a great tree. And yeah, so I think Maddox's going to get there. And he's going to go ahead, and I think what he's actually going to even do here is he's going to look at some of these piles of rocks that he has in this clearing, and he's gonna just immediately just kind of start doing like some whisper thing. Albrun can't quite hear what he's whispering, and the like gestures that he's making, and some of these rock piles are actually gonna go ahead and actually animate themselves and build themselves into like a humanoid body, and he's making more simulacrums, and I think he's gonna do that to about I think he's going to do that to about 3 more piles of rocks, and so he's going to have a total of like 5 of these rock golems, and he's going to kind of just do that, and these rock golems are actually going to kind of fan out and go deep, go past the tree lines into the clearings, and presumably they are fortifying the place. They're probably going to collect logs. They're probably going to go ahead and try to maybe just be on the lookout and clean up and that kind of thing. It's looking like he's going to want to refortify this place. I don't even think he's going to go inside his house. He's going to start working on some enchantments. He's probably going to try, I think the next thing he's going to do is probably try to maybe re-enchant some of the vine traps that he has. And so I think this is an opportunity for Albrun to try to talk to the man again. And so Albrun, he's a little tired. Mattick was moving a little fast for an old man. But Albrun was close behind, and Albrun is going to say, please, I need your help. Like, I can't leave here without your help. And Mattick, without even like looking at Albrun and paying him much heed, he's going to say, I saw that necklace around your neck. You're Ironsworn, are you not? Let me guess. You swore a vow to bring me back into the Havens to help these people. And Albrun's gonna be like, yes, that's exactly what I did. And Mattick is gonna say, I don't care. I have business here. And you know what? We rolled. What was that? That was a compel that we had rolled earlier, and I don't think this is an opportunity to compel again. I don't. I should probably specify in this campaign. I don't want to like. In a video game, you would call it save scumming. So in this campaign, I don't want to like just keep re-rolling the same move and hoping to get a better roll if like not really any significant things have changed, and nothing has really changed from the last time we tried to compel Mattick. So I don't really feel like it's the right move to try to compel again, at least until something changes or at least a significant amount of time has passed. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to take the result of the last compel, which was a straight miss. And originally, Mattick had just refused and left us tied up there. But we were able to escape those bindings ourselves. And so the other thing that happens on a miss with a compel is they can make a demand which costs you greatly. And I think we're going to kind of use that as a launching point. And so Albrun is going to say, you may not care, but I do. Those people are starving, Mattick, and you can help them. And Mattick's going to say, I'm not leaving here until I have this place fortified. These elves will not stop. You know what? I think we're gonna roll actually on what is it called? I want to roll either on action and theme or maybe the settlement troubles oracle, just to find out why these elves were kidnapping Mattick. Because like I mentioned earlier, they kidnapped him alive. They didn't kill him. They didn't kill him on sight. So clearly there was a reason why they wanted him alive. And actually, I think settlement trouble might be, and for settlement trouble, I'm talking about the elves settlement trouble. I think that might be the proper oracle to do. We could also do action and theme. Let me just kind of take a look here. We could do action and theme, or we could do settlement trouble. I think I want to do settlement trouble. We've never rolled on settlement trouble, and I feel like it kind of fits here. So we're going to roll settlement trouble real quick. This is Oracle 9. That's a 42. So 42 says Cursed Past. Oh, that's quite interesting. Cursed Past. Cursed Past. Okay, so they were after Mattick because they're experiencing some settlement trouble with a cursed past. Okay. And you know what? I don't even think we need to really define that right now. But I think what Mattick is going to say, those knife ears. God, I can't believe I just said that. Those elves. They wanted me. It's just like everyone else. Everyone wants me to perform some ritual for them. And those elves weren't taking no for an answer. They will be back. Okay. So Albrun, what's the move here? What is the move here? I think Albrun's gonna say, so if these elves were no longer a problem, you would have no issue going back to the Havens and performing that ritual for them. And I think Mattick is gonna look at Albrun, look at the necklace around his neck, just kind of, that kind of look. And I think Albrun, he's going to take the necklace. He's going to say, I will Ooh, this is a risky. Ooh, I don't like this. Okay. Oh, we have to. We have to. We missed on the compel. I think this is what we have to do. He's going to take the necklace. He's going to say, I will deal with the elves if you agree to come back with me to Grimbrooke. And I think Mattick is going to almost laugh because this dude, again, absolutely zero markings, clearly is pretty green when it comes to like magic use. Doesn't even have his sword on him. And as a young dude is talking about how he's going to deal with the elves. Mattick is going to laugh, kind of snort, and just go back to working on his enchantments. Okay, so this sounds like a swear a vow move. Let's see how that goes. Oh my gosh, I can't believe we're doing this. How the heck are we going to deal with the elves? Oh my gosh. Ugh. This is terrible. This is terrible, but I think this is what we have to do. Like I said earlier about how I don't want to like save scum in the campaign. I don't think there was any reasonable way to compel Mattick again after we failed that first compel. And so this is something that's significant that should change the circumstances that will allow us to compel again. So we're going to swear an iron vow. So when you swear upon iron to complete a quest, write your vow and give the quest a rank. Okay, so let's go ahead and jot this vow down. Okay. Let's see. So this is a vow. And their vow was kind of vague. I made it kind of vague on purpose just so that we have some options. The vow is deal with the elves that threaten Mattick. Okay, that threaten Mattick. And guys, I think we saw those elves. Clearly they have numbers. There was 5 of them that came for Mattick, so clearly they had 5 people to spare. So whatever these elves are, whatever their goal is, we know what the goal is. Curse past, whatever. They clearly have warriors to spare. They clearly had the strength to get through Mattick's enchantments, to get to him and capture him. Had him gagged and everything. To me, this sounds like a formidable vow as a rank. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. The reason why I'm kind of leaning towards formidable is I think I mentioned in session 0 about how one of the goals of this campaign is I really wanted Albrun to find a mystic to train with and get the ritualist asset. And spoiler alert, so there's a few assets in this game that actually have prerequisites. So you can't just buy the asset just because you have the XP. There's certain requirements you have to fulfill. And with the ritualist asset specifically, one of the main requirements is that you have to complete a vow in service for an Elder Mystic. And it has to be formidable or greater. So it has to be kind of a hard vow. And then, of course, you have to form a bond with them, forge a bond. And so I think this right here is actually going to be a formidable vow. So the rank is going to be formidable. And I need to remind myself, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I need to remind myself how many ticks a formidable vow gets. I can't quite remember. How many ticks is a formidable vow? Okay, so formidable vows, they get 1 box. So, okay, so let me just go ahead and jot that down. That's 1 box per progress. Okay, so we're going to swear this formidable vow. Hopefully it goes well. So when you swear an iron vow, Let's see, if you share a bond, you can add +1. We don't share a bond. This is going to be a plus heart roll. Oh my god, I really hope it's a strong hit. Okay, so let's see how in over our heads we are. This is going to be a plus heart, so that's +2 roll. Okay, that's a 5 on the action die, +2 is a 7 versus a 1. Okay, and ooh, a 1. That's a strong hit with a match. Okay, strong hit with a match. So on a strong hit, you are emboldened, and it is clear what you must do next. Ask the Oracle if unsure, and take +2 momentum. Our momentum track is already at 10, so that kind of sucks. I almost wish that we burned our momentum when we did that first compel, but it's in the past now. Okay, and so we are emboldened, and it's clear what we must do next. So again, Mattick like snorted at us, and like, you know, he's taking this as a joke, and he's gonna work on his own fortifications and stuff in his own plan. He probably thinks we're probably not gonna even come back alive, but I think what Albrun is going to do here is, okay, our path is clear, right? So let's go ahead and kind of unpack the information we have. We know that these elves, so we're thinking about this from Albrun's perspective. We know that these elves somehow got through Mattick's enchantments, right? They kidnapped him. They were taking him alive. They kidnapped us. They didn't kill us. You know, when that elf striked us, he didn't use the tip of his spear. He used the butt of his spear. And then we woke up and we were tied up. So clearly, I think that Albrun is going to ascertain that these elves, for some reason, probably want something to do with mystics. So clearly, we, being of Skull blood, probably Mattick being worth a little bit more, but we're clearly valuable to them in some way. They didn't kill us. And I think Albrun, you know, strong hit on Swear the Vow, he's going to recognize that, like, okay, maybe that's a little bit of leverage there. They want mystics, okay? And I think what Albrun is going to do is he's going to leave this clearing, and he's going to actually go back. He's going to take the path that they took from the river back to Mattick's place, and he's going to actually take that same path back to the river. And I think what we're going to do is we need to investigate. We need to find out where these elves were taking us, and we need to find more of these elves, right? Okay, so yikes. Okay, so we make it back. I think we make it back to the riverbed. We're definitely past noon now in the day, so that's just a little time reminder. But we get back there, and we're going to just look at this carnage. There's just 5 elvish bodies here. Like I said last session, they were bludgeoned to death. So those rock golems that Mattick commands, you know, they had boulders for fists, and they just kind of like destroyed the skulls of these elves. So it's just like a lot of these elves are like headless. Their heads are like bashed in. Blood is everywhere. It's not a pretty look. And I think what we're going to do here is we're going to gather information and see if we can't figure out anything with the bodies of these elves. So let's gather some information. This is going to be plus wits. Oh, yikes. This isn't good. I don't think it's good that all 5 of the elves died. It would have been better for us if at least one of them survived. Okay. Ooh, yikes. Ooh, that's a 2 on the action die. Plus 2 is a 4. Versus a 9 and an 8. Ooh, that's a miss. Your investigation unearths a dire threat or reveals an unwelcome truth that undermines your quest. Pay the price. Okay, so the quest that we are referring to is definitely this formidable quest that we have here. We're dealing with the elves that threaten Mattick. To me, I almost feel like this is an obvious pay the price. I think... You know what? I think this is what we're going to do. I think as we make our way over here and we make our way back to the scene of just absolute carnage that happened here with these 5 dead elvish bodies, and we're like investigating, we're like kind of, I don't think we're touching the bodies, like we're trying to be respectful, but we are looking to see if like maybe these elves have some sort of insignia or banner that can show like what tribe they're from or something like that. And while we're investigating, oh, yikes! I think while we're investigating, oh, let's make it hurt. While we're investigating and we're kneeling down at one of these elvish bodies, in just a second, we just hear a whistling, like, and from behind us, an arrow flies out of the trees and lands itself in our shoulder. And we're going to endure 1 harm here. Would it be 2 harm? It's a formidable. I mean, it's an actual weapon. I think it's 2 harm. Never mind. Yeah, we're going to take 2 harm. So we're down to 2 health. An arrow just kind of goes straight through our shoulder, right through our tendon. Albrun screams out. And before we continue, let me go ahead and roll Endure Harm, just to kind of see the outcome of that. So this is going to be either health or iron, whichever is higher. Our health is higher than our +1 iron, so we're going to roll +2 on Endure Harm. That's a 3 on the action die, +2 is 5, versus an 8 and a 6. Yikes, that's a miss. So we're going to suffer 1 momentum as well. Oh! No, we're not going to burn momentum. Okay, so we're going to suffer 1 momentum, go down to 9. Guys, I have to remind myself to burn this momentum. I never do it in the moment. I always forget that you can burn momentum as a mechanic. But anyways, Albrun, that arrow from behind completely surprises him. Hurts really bad. He, he's like at like the arrow. I would say it's like probably a good 6 inches through his shoulder. He like kind of grabs it, and he's just like not good. And I think a whole entire host of elves that are dressed very similarly to the ones that are dead come out of the wood line, bows drawn, and there's one that is on a gaunt that kind of just walks up, and Albrun is like looking back at this point, and he's like laying next to the dead bludgeoned body of one of these elves, and this mounted elf takes one look at Albrun, probably notices the silver eyes, looks at a fellow elf, says, "Take him." Cool. I think we get taken. So I think we just got captured by a whole host of elves. Yikes. Yep. We didn't make any progress in our vow right there. We are in a pretty bad situation. We are at +2 health. This is not very good. But I think that this is a pretty good stopping point here. I hate to leave off on a cliffhanger, but I think this is an excellent launching off point for next session. So thank you for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, or comment. And I will catch you guys next time for session 9 and see what happens to Albrun. All right.